On the agenda tonight, we're going to be having a listen to Jake Gyllenhaal, and he's going to be performing season 49. Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So, something a little bit different for tonight, because I was sent this video of Jake doing a monologue for Saturday Night Live, and they break into song, and somebody was asking me about Jake's voice, because this is a performance that's fully live, and believe it or not pitch corrected or auto-tuned or anything like that. So I am going to be jumping into this, just in case you want to watch it the whole way through. There's a link in the description below, but let's see how Jake gets on.
The end of the road. We belong together, and you know that I'm right.
I'm going to jump in here immediately because I think I wasn't expecting this when I watched the video, and maybe the person that requested it was a bit taken aback by Jake's voice. He nails it. I mean, this first section, it's always going to be the most important thing, to be on pitch when you start. But the way that he comes in, I mean, this is great, because he's like immediately, we belong together, you know, and gets that. And then we've got this, I don't know what the lyrics were, but, and I know that it's right. And he had a little run in there. Let's listen again.
We belong together.
And even there, we belong together. You know, it's so cool.
And you know that I'm right.
Yeah, and you know that I'm right. And that little run there. And it's actually, it goes a little bit right. It kind of goes to a breathy rundown. So yeah, that first part was great.
I've loved you right from the start, for season.
And there, I mean, now we've gone, I think it's season, and his pitch, yeah, is a little bit off.
49.
But then he's back, you know, and he's got this, I'd say slightly squeezed sound to it. So we've got this F4. And, I mean, as you'll see as we get through this performance, and, you know, this is light-hearted. This isn't a serious vocal performance, but there's a lot of vocal technique in here, and lots of things that Jake does that I think a lot of people do when they sing and they push their voice and try and get up to high notes. But so it's going to be a good example for explaining different things about the voice and different vocal registers. But, you know, he's definitely got an appreciation of pitch, which is the most important thing with singing, is being able to hit pitches accurately enough so that people know the melody that you're singing. So let's get back to it.
You know, I was actually SNL's first choice to host the finale after a lot of people said no. I guess they're all holding out for the 50th, but not me, not little JG. I'm the one who said yeah. They asked Pedro Pascal, but he wasn't around. Zendaya said no, cause she'd be out of town, even as gossip.
So now here, I mean, this is interesting because we're now up to, what, G4. So it's, so that's the note that's being hit. But the way that Jake's hitting this is he's using his chest voice. So when he started the song down here, going, we belong together, down in that place, oh, now he's going, oh. So he's taking that same vocal register higher up. And what will happen is, I mean, depending on your range, and I think that probably, I mean, we're talking about notes here at the top end of the male tenor range, because we've got a G4, G sharp 4, A4, you know, that's all at the top end. So he's getting towards the top of his range there. I'd say that he's probably a baritone because of the way that he's kind of belting up. You know, these aren't really comfortable notes for him, but it's because of the way that he's keeping it in chest voice. So rather than, you know, like going, and doing it in a light way like that, which would be head voice, he's going, and he's kind of, taking a lot of weight up there, to this, G4.
To come back again, just hosted 3 shows ago. Although we've come.
And there, even go. He's done a kind of little run in there, so he's still applying vocal technique, and this is great because, it's lighthearted, but it's great that we're just hearing somebody singing, and it's not being manipulated. And the reason that I say that is there are so few people and so few producers that would let this kind of thing happen, and it's because it's light-hearted and it's Saturday Night Live that it's allowed to be like this. But if we were talking about the mainstream music industry, this would be pitch corrected before being released, and I guarantee you that there are singers who are the same as Jake in terms of pitch accuracy, but it would be pitch corrected before then it gets released. And we've seen that in multiple movies and even analysis videos that I've done on movies where the actors have sung in order to, I suppose, get that recognition, so that when they're being interviewed about the movie, they'll always get asked, is this you singing in the movie? And then they say, oh yeah, this is me singing. But what they don't mention is that the vocal would have been like this, because you can hear how heavily pitch corrected it's been in the final movie, but they don't say that, oh yeah, it is me singing, but they've pitch corrected my voice so that it's in tune with the backing. So obviously they're not going to mention that. But this is just a natural vocal, so it's great.
To the end of the road, it's the last episode.
Obviously, this is a very well-known song, edited to make it fit season 49.
Time to say goodbye, season 49. You'll be 50 soon.
And even there, soon, he was actually putting some vibrato on there. So, Jake has definitely got an appreciation of, singing, but controlling his voice, using his voice to make it sound like singing. And this is the other thing that I think it's fair to say, that when Jake's in chest voice, it gets on that borderline of shouting, because, that's what belting at the top end of your range is. When you shout, that's what happens. So he's kind of at that level. Just applying vibrato is something that he can do and he knows to do.
Girl, we did a lot of sketches this year, and most of them were fine.
Even this, them were fine, is still accurate pitch-wise with that G3.
It's definitely one of the top 48 seasons, season 49.
And even though this is the end of one season, I'd like to think it's also the start of a new one. In many ways, this is the real episode, first episode of season 50.
No, it's not.
Had to try. It's been 49 years, over 900 shows.
And again, now this isn't an easy song to sing. Getting up to this G4 all the time.
Costumes and wigs and a room full of blow. So many stars have walked out that door.
So yeah, there's the A sharp 4.
Here's to 49 more.
And there, he went up to that A sharp 4. So, as you would have seen in previous analysis videos, top end of the male tenor range, we've got that marked as A4, so he's a semitone higher than that. And you can actually hear, not that he was singing a note there, but just his expression when he's kind of pushing actually did just touch a B4 very quickly. But have a listen to this again. Yeah, so he's at this 49 mom. So yeah, that's going to be, that's a high note to be singing in this place, because he's not going, he's using his chest voice, and you can hear that it's right at the top there. But it's great that he's kind of been able to take his chest voice this high, because I'm sure that if he got into his kind of mixed voice and head voice, and he'd probably be able to get kind of really high up there if you kind of took all of that weight out of it. But this is the point, that yeah, it's not kind of a serious performance. And this is the kind of song that with a lead vocal, you've got to do this. You've got to use your chest voice. You know, especially when he's going na 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 na, and he's kind of there. If he went na 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 ha, ha, like that, you just lose everything. I think that was just another held note with vibrato there. To the end. To the end. And, you know, a little wobble there. I think he might have just briefly gone into the original song there, not season 49. No, no, no. Okay, now this is really interesting at the end, because, I mean, this is still plotting Jake's pitch. When he's talking at the end and he's kind of shouting out to the crowd, and look at where his voice is. So here he's broken away from singing and he's now talking to the crowd, saying what's coming up, and he actually gets up to the G sharp 4 with what he's considering his talking voice. So, I mean, it's interesting because sometimes when people are singing, and it's a really common thing, they see themselves as doing something different. So it's not talking anymore, I'm going to try and sing. And often people will express themselves with, you know, different pitches within their talking voice, and they might actually hit notes, but they don't realize they're doing it because they're talking. They're not thinking about singing. So somebody might think, oh, a G sharp 4, that's really difficult for me to hit and I'm going to strain, it's going to be a nightmare. But then they might be out talking to someone, they go, oh my God, and they'll do an expression that they're not thinking about, but they'll be hitting notes that they can't hit when they think they're singing. If you're hitting a high note when you're shouting and you want to apply that to singing, it's then going to be a case of controlling it. And, you know, like I've done here, if I went, ah, and I've tried push up to a high note in chest voice, but then take that same note and go, ah, and do something different with it, put it in a different place, like use head voice, and then, ah, kind of mix those two together and get a kind of mixed voice sound. It makes that note, rather than going ah and trying to reach up to it, it's almost like you're kind of in between. You go ah, and it now suddenly doesn't feel like it's as high when you just try and do it all in chest voice. But obviously that's, you know, vocal technique and you know, practice and trying to get it all to work because yeah, it really is a lifelong struggle to master the human voice and your vocal cords, because you can know all the theory in the world, but your vocal cords still won't do it. You know, you got to try and teach them how to do it, and yeah, just try and ease them in. And a bit of a different video for tonight, but I find this kind of thing really interesting, not only from that point of view that is actually a natural voice we're hearing, which is rare nowadays, that it hasn't been manipulated from a pitch standpoint, but also that it's looking at somebody who is known for acting and isn't known for singing, but you can tell that there's vocal technique in there, and he's got an appreciation of pitch and vibrato and, yes, certainly belting in chest voice, which he does here, as well as hitting some notes that are, you know, way up there, top end of the male tenor range. So anyway, thank you guys for requesting this particular video for me to take a look at. As always, keep those suggestions and requests coming in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think, and if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!